The Patriots named their all-time team, and I've got the list in front of me here.
In honor of their anniversary season.
In honor of their anniversary season. And most of them were fairly cut and dried. I had a few issues. Tom Brady was named the all-time quarterback.
That's hard to argue.
I would put him fifth.
Fifth?
Yes.
Behind Michael
Tom
Bishop?
Hodson, number one. Hugh Millen. Was it Tom Hodson?
Tommy
That was-
Hodson.
Tommy Hodson?
Are you thinking of the
Hodson.
sheriff?
No.
Tom
No,
Hodgson?
Tommy
Okay.
Hodson.
Okay.
Hugh Millen, Mark Wilson, and then fourth, it's a toss-up between Brady and this guy, Michael Bishop.
You went with Michael Bishop?
Fourth,
You
and then
went,
Brady.
you went Bishop
Was-
over Eason?
Was Scott Secules a quarterback?
He was. I
He
think he
was?
punted also.
All right.
One thing that amazed me, here are the running backs in the Patriots. They've had 50 years of teams, and their best running backs are Jim Nantz, who was an AFL star, but, Jim Nantz.
Yeah.
And
Not
Sam
the
Cunningham.
broadcaster, by the way.
And
Spelled
Sam
differently.
Cunningham, who was a pretty good running back, but he also played in front of a great line and didn't have a great long career. So,
I got to wonder about Curtis Martin, though.
well,
I think
he only played 4 years.
Admittedly,
Yeah,
he was
and
not here
so-
long, but I mean, look at you have Logan Mankins is on the list, and he's only played 4 years.
Yeah,
Correct?
Mankins made it. Another guy that didn't have much. Vince Wilfork made it also.
So it's
So you can make it. I actually thought I had a problem with Irving Fryar making the team. He was pretty much a bust for his first 6 years as a receiver and didn't really hit his stride until he went to Miami.
Well, read the receivers that made the
All right.
team.
Well, Stanley Morgan was awesome.
and
Yeah,
there's no
that's-
question
in
of
fact,
Stanley
he's
Morgan.
really one of the most underappreciated receivers to ever play. Troy Brown was kind of a no-brainer, and then Fryer. I mean, to me, I know he's only been here for 2 years.
yeah. There we go.
I'm sorry,
Here
but I
we
think
go.
that Randy Moss, he's one of the greatest players of all time, and he's played a huge role for this team.
He did set.
He's
going to
have another season. He's going to have 3 great seasons in New England. I think that would be enough to beat Irving Fryar, who was a jerk and a bust and didn't do anything until he left town.
Now, normally, until he came to the Patriots, I would always be willing to debate your man love for Randy Moss because I just didn't see it.
It's not a man love. It's just love.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. But now that I've had a chance to watch him play 16
Yes.
games and more, he really, really is that good, and he should be on that list.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a shame.
you can't, like I said, Morgan and Brown, you can't really discount what they did. You can't cut them, so that would make Fryer kind of the victim of
And
that.
I'm not sure why they had. I mean, some of the committee that they put together to pick the team was, it's journalists and some players, and seems like some things were kind of arbitrary. Like they just gave a spot to Gino Cappelletti, which he deserves, but
Mhm.
he was a kicker and a wide receiver, but he wasn't really good enough at either to be
Yeah, but you're getting into that,
you're
franchise face kind of.
okay. But how about this now? Here's somebody who's not on the Patriots all-time team, is Tedy Bruschi, and whereas Vrabel, Seymour, and Wilfork are all Ty Law are all on this team. Rodney Harrison's on the team. So how do those 5 make it, and yet Tedy Bruschi doesn't? I mean, they broke it down to inside linebackers and outside linebackers, and the insides are Steve Nelson and who's the other one? Nick Bonacani.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you got to find a way to get Tedy Bruschi on that team. If he's not an all-time Patriot,
that's.
I mean, who is?
I don't know the exact criteria they put into making these decisions, but you kind of do have to look at the fact that the guy did come back from a stroke to still play at a pretty high level.
It's a shame.
That should be a factor in your decision when when you're talking greatest Patriots. To go back a minute to Gino Cappelletti, don't forget he did have the scoring record for many years,
Right.
until Vinatieri broke it.
Yep.
And also, while you say he might not have been an all-star caliber player, he was the all-star for that team for a decade.
Yeah,
he was the
I'm not
best player on
I'm
his
not
team.
saying he doesn't really deserve to be on the team, but it showed that whoever was making this team felt like they could kind of say, okay, we got some wiggle room, so we're going to add this guy because while he doesn't qualify at either position, he's a great Patriot. Well, if they made that leap, I think they had to make the same leap and say, well, if instead of having I mean, I don't think you need to have Mike Vrabel on the All-Patriots team and not have Tedy Bruschi.
Yeah.
So, do something different. Say, okay, we're just going to have 4 linebacker spots. We're not going to differentiate. Bruschi did play. He played both. He plays both.
Mhm.
So, I'm sure. I mean, Tedy Bruschi's he's appreciated by the fans. I don't think he's ever going to be in the Hall of Fame,
I don't think
I
any
think he's-
player cares if they made this.
He'll
list
be in
or
the
not.
Patriots Hall of Fame.
I don't want to say overappreciated, but I think he's one of those. He's taken on that kind of Trot Nixon mold, where as good as he was, it may not be
Yeah, I
the
know what you
greatest
mean.
example. As good as he was, he's got this venerated stance now.
That is true. I mean, I've been accused of being a bit of a Teddy basher in recent years because I'll point out to people, hey, the guy is not as good as he was in the past, and I don't think that he is necessarily deserving of a starting role on this team right now.
Right, and that's understandable. But
That brings up a lot of argument with people because of that sentimentality. For
but
him.
you're also talking about a guy who's been to all 5 of the most recent Super Bowls.
Mhm.
Who has made big plays. I don't know. I just he's a collector. He's a guy that never was great in any individual season. But then you look back and say he played 14 years he played a whole decade on one of the great teams. On a dynasty team. I mean,
He's an excellent player,
it's
but it's
definitely the omission of note to me.
yes, Bruschi. But he still will get. Don't worry, he'll still get plenty of ads.
He also gets
Oh, yeah.
paid still, correct?
He does. I'm not.
No, I understand that. It's
like I was saying
these,
before.
These things are designed to ferment debate like this.
And he will be. I mean, I think that they will probably retire Bruschi's number at some point. And I think that he's. I mean, if you can't retire Troy Brown's number and not retire Tedy Bruschi's number, because they're the same player, overachiever, on other sides of the ball, overachievers, did a lot of different things, were never the huge star, but
This is a debate that happens in the press box every season, and we don't have to spend that much time on it. But what Patriots that are playing now are going to have their numbers retired? Because it's not like they're
Right.
the Celtics. They don't retire everybody's number that won a championship.
Right.
So there's going to be a very select few. Obviously Brady. But I
Brady.
mean, will Moss reach
No,
that status?
no.
He won't be here long
Brady
enough.
and Bruschi.
And that's the thing. There's really nobody else that you can say, would have that honor deserving. Vinatieri would have had he not left.
You might make an argument that if Matt Light were to play another 5 or 6 years at left tackle, he's kind of the great underappreciated Patriot. Left tackle is kind of a glamour position, and he's been the starting left tackle on one of the great passing offenses. A great passing offense year in year out, and
And the knock on him is always that he can't play against Jason Taylor, but that's one guy
right.
that he's had trouble with when everybody else he's handled pretty well.
I think Jason Taylor may have some type of superpowers also. So